Kirk Duckwall here with Mastermind the Market, your real estate stats update for the Twin Cities area. Mark this day. What do I mean by that? I'll get into that in just 1 second. But first, make sure you click on that subscribe button. We know that knowledge is power, and the more knowledge that you have about our Twin Cities market, the more that you can leverage that to your advantage. So again, click on that subscribe button. Also, if you have not had the opportunity and you really want to geek out on some real estate, check out the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. This is a show we've been doing since about 2012. It's been on AM 950, Sundays at noon. However, we know that not everybody's going to catch AM radio. So if you type in Twin Cities Real Estate Show in whatever you use to find your podcasts, you should be able to pull up our shows there as well. Also, we've been broadcasting on Facebook Live for the last couple of years. You can look at YouTube, type in Bricks Twin Cities, and find those shows there. But some exciting news, the CW23 here in the Twin Cities has picked up this show. We're going to be running it starting in about the next 30 to 45 days. It will be on Friday mornings at about starting at 8:30. So again, CW23 Fridays at 8:30 for the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. If you have an opportunity, check that out. All right, let's dive into the data. Showings per week per listing, median sale price range 200 400K. I had said to watch this week, and the reason I said that is this will identify if we have seen our peak or not, and it fell from the previous week, fell from actually looking back even 5 weeks, 10.43, now down to an 8.54. So it looks like our fastest pace of the market is behind us at this point. This is some good news for buyers. However, sellers, by no means does this mean we're in a bad marketplace. So how did we end up with this drop where we're at? So we can see total number of showings actually fell back from a few weeks back, where we peaked out at 4984, and now we're down at 4441. And a lot of this has to do with the amount of new listings coming into the marketplace. We're finally coming up off that bottom, and if we actually look back at last week, we peaked out at 2,200 new listings hitting in the 13 county metro. My previous video, I talked about hitting 2,000 listings. So that was pacing ahead of pending sales at that same time by about 600. Also pacing ahead of 2019's new listings by about 600. So this should help bring inventory up and slowing that pace of showings down. We can see that starting to happen. Some other news that's good for buyers out there is the interest rates. So from our resident mortgage geek, Chad Preby at Bell Bank Mortgage, we can see things are back to neutral as far as how mortgages are trending today. They actually started to drop back last week, and we're down, according to him, by about 0.25%. So since this data came out last Thursday, which had us at a 3.13, now down to a 3.04, we might be falling off even lower than that at this point in time. So down about 0.25 point. His recommendation at this time is to lock interest rates. So we talked about the total number of showings slowing, but what does this really mean for sellers? If we look at listings, they're starting to pick up. But the real eye-opener here is the showings per listing in comparison to previous years. We are so much faster. Now, keep in mind, this chart here is a 30-day look back, where the one I just showed was a 1-week period of time. Obviously, you'd think there would be more showings in that 30-day period. However, these houses are selling, so they're not on necessarily for a full 30 days. So we have a long way to come off of this mountain. Mount Everest, highest peak in the world, K2, another very high peak, just not as high, right? So we're still really high up there for sellers. So it's still a very, very good market. So when I talk about the market meter, yeah, we're still at a 10. The difference being is we're kind of starting to waffle on the top, and things are starting to move a little bit down. Now, for buyers out there, we can look back and see that it's usually March into April or maybe April into May when that activity starts falling off. And now that's what we're seeing when we're tracking these numbers here. So life should be getting easier out there, but it's still going to be competitive. Hopefully you found this information valuable. If I was a buyer, I would start maybe becoming more serious into the market, as you're not going to probably see the 25 offers, 150 showings in one day as often. The more normal is going to start to be, maybe 3 to 5 offers on a property. Still maybe a lot of showings, but just not as extremely competitive. So now you can maybe make more reasonable offers instead of some of the craziness that we've seen over the last couple months. So hopefully you found this information valuable. Again, click on that subscribe button. Check out the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Take care, be safe, and have a great week.